you want her to go first?
No, you're good. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. We have Coach Frese and Faith Masonius here. We'll let Coach start us off, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Yeah, obviously, just can't believe how quickly the season has flown by, and that this is our last regular season Big Ten game. Looking forward to the matchup against a great Iowa team. A lot of lessons that we learned from the first time, but obviously, when you have the best player in the nation coming through with Clark, a difficult matchup. So for us, just being super intentional, knowing where she's at on the court, and just defense by committee. But I know we're looking forward to another top 10 matchup here in Xfinity. I hope a lot of people come out to this game for our seniors and the last regular season Big Ten game.
Like I said, we have Faith Masonius here. We'll take questions for Faith first. Do you want to? Yeah. We'll take one in the room here first. Go ahead, Brenda.
Faith, were you one of the ones that everybody got back?
Yes, I was. It was definitely had a bitter taste in our mouths. I don't know. It was a late night, but honestly, I was like, I can't go to sleep before watching this game. The first half was definitely hard to watch, but us coming out in the third quarter, was nice to see that we cut that run a little short, but in the end we didn't get the outcome we wanted. So, just studying the scout and getting better and learning from it.
What do you think it speaks to the fact that several members of the teams got back and were like, yeah, that's not happening again. Let's watch this.
Yeah.
At 4 a.m. What do you think that says about the team and your guys' commitment to not let it happen again?
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely shows how much it matters to us. How much we want to learn and get better and want to win and be able to come out better in the end. I think it just shows a lot to, who we are as a team and the players on the team who create and form this program, how much we care.
Obviously you can watch a bunch of film on Caitlin Clark. How different is it? I know you played a couple times. How different is it to watch the film against her and then play against her? Just how different is it?
I mean, the film is going to show us what we need to know. It's kind of just executing the plan or executing, the scout, the film that you've watched and being able to kind of back it up by doing what you need to do to defend her. I mean, we know the player that she is, great player. She's going to get points. She's going to get assists, steals, all those different things. But being able to limit her with our defense is just something we're going to try to do.
We'll go to Dylan for questions for Faith first. Go ahead, Dylan.
Hey, Faith. Just wanted to ask, how you're feeling coming into this game. Obviously your last one at Xfinity. You've dealt with so much over the course of your career, and I'm sure it's going to be bittersweet. But is there a better way you want to end your college career at Xfinity than a game against Caitlin Clark?
It's definitely exciting that we're going to be able to play at home, and like Coach B said, hopefully get a lot of people come out to our games so we have that good environment, and feel our sixth man. But it's definitely an exciting way to end the season, and hopefully in the end we get the success that we want at home in front of our fans and our community and everyone, the whole Maryland community.
Yeah, I know there hasn't been. I mean, this was the first time we've heard the team watch a game back. Have you done that with any other games throughout your career, or right after?
After every single game, I always go home, and it's probably one of the first things I do is watch the game back. Especially when it's fresh, but also if I'm not going to watch it back that same day, I watch every single game back. So
sure. Thanks.
Yep.
Go ahead, Damon.
Hey, Faith. Caitlin Clark and Monica Cesano are really, really effective at using a high screen and roll. How important will it be for you all to communicate on screen so that she's not able to, let off her numerous shot attempts?
I mean, communication is going to be key in this game, so we're all on the same page. It's a key in every single game, but this one, especially with such a great team and those two putting up a lot of numbers, we're going to have to be on the same page to be successful.
Go ahead, Olivia.
Hey Faith, I wanted to ask you about the handshake you do with Gigi before the games. She talked about how she likes that you like do the ponytail flip because it's kind of like fun and feminine. You get to be girly while also playing basketball. So what are your thoughts on that?
The handshake, I just wanted to keep it simple. I did add that little hair flip. I just feel like that kind of like represents me. I feel like I am a feminine basketball player. So it's just a little something.
Go ahead, Ian.
To kind of piggyback off of Dylan's question, how often, like when you go back and watch a game, are you seeing new things? Like, I mean, obviously, you're a high basketball IQ player, and I feel like a lot of times maybe it's easier to diagnose something during the game where like you miss an assignment, or maybe you're kind of slow on kind of help defense or something. Like, how often are you actually seeing something that where you're like, wow, I didn't even notice I was doing this. I need to correct that for another game, versus how often you're just like, okay, yeah, like I knew I missed that. Tighten up for next time.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes in the speed of the game and the adrenaline, you don't really realize some of the things you're doing. It's kind of just habit and second nature, but being able to go down and slow down the film and clip different certain plays, you're able to really see your own tendencies or the tendencies of your team or the other team. So it's good to be able to kind of slow it down, because sometimes, especially like with a foul, for instance, like you'll think you were straight up, but for a second you put your hands down, but you don't even know because you're just in the heat of the moment. So little things like that, like film doesn't lie. So you could go back and see every little detail.
Thanks, Faith.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll let Brandon go ahead first here in the room. Thanks, Faith.
More of a fun type question. How good was it for you to see that comeback Tuesday sign during the court storm the other night?
Yeah, loved it. That's what it's all about. And, love to see that kind of support, and hope that, it pays off with, you're seeing all these, I think it's a pretty cool statement in the women's game right now to see all these sellouts that are going on. If you saw Indiana's game yesterday with Purdue, I mean, they were, outside the building at 4:30 in the morning, preparing for that last senior game. So, just some huge moments in women's basketball, and you hope here in College Park it stays the same.
And then more for the game itself. Last time you guys started out slow, Diamond picked up those couple early fouls. But yeah, you guys were still able to make that run in the third quarter. How important now is it to get off to that fast start so you don't need those third quarter heroes?
Yeah, in this league, and obviously moving forward here in March, you have one bad quarter, more times than not, you're going to lose the game. It's just too big a holes to dig back from against such great teams. And, these are, we're in a top 5, top 10 battle right now. So, it's important for us to understand how valuable every quarter is.
Go ahead, Damon.
Hey, coach, with a big time matchup like this at home with Caitlin Clark and Diamond Miller on both teams, how does it feel, to have a big time game like this on national television and a big time primetime slot?
Yeah, we love it. We've been in a lot of those this season. I think again for the women's game, it's lining up perfectly when you talk about two of the best players right now in the country. So must for those who want to come out in person as well as nationally on television.
Go ahead, Olivia.
Coach, I wanted to ask, you talked earlier about the lessons you learned from the first Iowa game. Can you get into more specifics with that? Like what specific things do you want to see your team do different?
Well, definitely, get out to an early start playing at home. We need to be a lot more disciplined. The early foul trouble really cost us with a lot of the rotations and the subbing that we had to do. Obviously I didn't think we did a good job at all with Clark or Cesano the entire game. I mean, way too many points for them, and they're going to score theirs. They just have to be a lot more difficult than what they were able to get in that first game. I think it also shows just how talented they are. But I think the discipline part for us on the defensive end without fouling is shot selection, I thought was pretty poor in the first half. So, just trust in the system and, for 40 minutes.
Go ahead, Ian.
Hey, Coach. When the schedule first came out, you look at the last two games. You get Iowa, Ohio State. Obviously, those, you guys were all three teams were expected to be strong contenders in the Big Ten. How beneficial is that for your team heading into the conference tournament? Now that you have secured that double bye, could be seeing one of those two teams en route to potential another Big Ten title.
Yeah, it is. I think when it first came out, I was like, what in the world is the Big Ten doing to us here in the final stretch? But it absolutely does. I mean, you want to be battle tested. You want to know where you fall going into the conference tournament and postseason. So, I love the fact that our non-conference and our conference schedule is lined up that way. So, it's just continuing to, be the most prepared team for the 40 minutes and two, really, really tough games to finish the season. But, it's going to allow us to know where our strengths and our weaknesses lie.
Definitely. We're heading out for the Big Ten, and we're flying, so we're there the whole weekend. So we're definitely excited to watch your guys' games, all the games, because a lot has been talked about, just like the depth of the Big Ten. And I mean, Purdue could sneak in there. Like there are a lot of teams that are just really solid 1 through 6, 7, 8. So it'll be a really fun tournament, a lot of good basketball to watch.
Yeah, it will be. My son and I were out to breakfast this morning and we were looking at all the standings across the Power 5 conferences. And, it's just pretty cool to see where the Big Ten is. And I think it is it's unlike in any tournament we've seen. So, excited to see how it all unfolds. And just, I kind of like it in my mind that year, and I hope it plays out that way, that when we went to the Final Four to win the national championship, we had 3 teams in from the
Yep.
ACC in the Final Four. It feels like that type of year in the Big Ten, just with how good the Big Ten has been this season from top to bottom.
Definitely. Thanks, Coach.
And we'll wrap up with Dylan.
Hey, Coach, 2 quick things. Beginning of the season, you weren't shy by saying that this was one of the toughest schedules you've had in, your years at Maryland. I guess to this point now, how would you assess how the team has done and handled this, very tough schedule? You alluded to it before by saying what's the Big Ten doing, giving us these last 2 games against Ohio State and, Iowa. It's definitely an eyebrow, raises an eyebrow there. So just curious, now that we are toward the end of the season, how would you assess how your team has handled one of the toughest schedules in the country?
Yeah. Well, I could say, like I said earlier, is the non-conference schedule and conference schedule was built for, a veteran-led team. And then with the off-season shakeups, there were a lot of question marks and unknowns going into it. I knew what we had brought in, but again, not having had the development piece with them, the time with them, you still had a lot of question marks. So I can't say enough about this team. It's been probably one of my most enjoyable years in coaching, and it's because this group has bought in through one of the toughest schedules that in my 21 years we've ever faced, and with the conference being so good, as well as the non-conference slate we put together. So love it, the consistency, the competitiveness, and to be sitting here, I think we're at 22-5 right now with really only one returning starter coming back with Diamond. I think speaks volumes of this team, and just the ability to buy in and play their role and do it to the best of their ability.
Sure. And I'm curious, if watching Diamond and Caitlin go up again in this type of atmosphere is like a David and Goliath type of, head clash. Is there any metaphor or story behind the 2 of them just going at it?
Hopefully in this game, Diamond's allowed to play. I think that was the unfortunate part down there. You call an illegal screen 40 seconds into the game, which, was a powerful, had a big impact. So, it is, I think it's exciting. These 2 players, when you talk about the face of the women's game and just how talented they are, you're talking about, first round draft pick for both of them when they go out. So doesn't get any better than that. And, looking forward to, everybody coming out and being able to see this, important matchup.
Sure. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, everybody. See you tomorrow.